Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Rakah HaKodash, double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who ruled well and taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect and the one-third remnant out there listening and doing this word with all faith and sincerity scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth. To you I say shalom, Lord willing. This video is edifying. It's going to be sent around this article that I have on the screen and a lesson plan behind it. And it's entitled U.S. Military Launches Unarmed Nuclear Missile from Vandenberg Space Force Base. The unarmed Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missile launched from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. Right. And, a few days ago, Donald Trump made the statement that the United States will begin nuclear testing for the first time in like 33 years, right? And he went through with that promise, right? As the U.S. tests out, its nuclear arsenal. And what this does is it reignites the nuclear war arsenal race, right? The race to see who can build more weapons of mass destruction. Okay. And it makes sense because, allegedly there's only a few thousand ICBMs held by these nuclear capable nations, right? They have short of, I want to say maybe like 10,000, 8,000, something like that. But the scriptures prophesied that 200 million missiles or 200 million warheads shall be shot on just America. Okay. So that means there's a lot of work to be doing or to do, right? So you could fully expect this behavior to only amplify. Okay. They're not doing these nuclear tests for no reason. They're not doing it just to flex. They're doing it with intentions, especially in the world and the state that is in now of uncertainty and wars, right? And the potential for more wars to break out in the imminent future. Okay. This is not just for show. All right. So, all of this other extra stuff is pretty much just, facts behind the matter. All right. Traveled about 4,000 miles before I landed in the Marshall Islands. But the point is that they're testing these weapons of mass destruction. Okay. This is Ezekiel 21. And eight. And again, the word of Yahweh Shemel Shai came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith Yahweh Shemel Shai, say, a sword is sharpened and also furbished, right? And if you go into furbishing, it's like sharpening, right? Polishing, okay? Making sure that it is in good shape to be what? Wielded and used, right? And this is the state, right, that these nations are in. They are fine-tuning these weapons of mass destruction. They want to make sure that there is no hiccup, there is no misfire or something that goes wrong. They want to make sure that all of these details are planned out, and all the kinks are buffed out. So when they decide to use it, it works perfectly, and it will. They will work perfectly, okay, because the Lord has promised it. All right. And it is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Right? So in the ancient world, you pull out that sword and you see that shine after it's been unsheathed. Right? You know that, that thing is ready. Okay? It's prepped. Similar to now. All right? They want to make sure those missiles are in good condition. That when they fire it, you see that beautiful trail of smoke. You see that that weapon working in full capacity. Okay? Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. Right. Is this the time to be joking and playing and to be bullshitting? No. Because we see that they're doing this very such thing. Okay? Meaning that we are indeed nearing closer and closer to that great and terrible day that the Lord has promised. And he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled and may be used. Right? The sword is sharpened and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. And we know who that slayer is. Okay? Esau, he is going to go through with this great deed. Okay? Mass death in numbers that the world hasn't seen, in ways that the world hasn't seen, are about to get ready to happen. Okay? So, these beautiful times we're in, very pivotal times, because at the same time this is happening, we see all these other different events taking place, right? These different nations turning on America, them introducing these different systems, Palantir, all right? These super mega storms that are happening, okay? So a lot of things are taking place, all right? This is Jeremiah 51 and 1. Thus saith Yahweh Shemawashah, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them Salakia. Behold, I will rise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. And what's going to bring that destroying wind? Those thermonuclear missiles, man. Those nuclear winds. And will send will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Right. And that day of trouble is what? World War III, when it reaches its peak, the climax, if you will, okay? The day in which these missiles are shot off from one end of the earth to the other, okay? That exchange of nuclear fire, okay? And America is going to come out on the back end of that, completely obliterated, okay? From sea to shining sea. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up to, or Salaki, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigadine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. And that's exactly what is going to happen from the results of this nuclear exchange. Okay. Another name for the Minuteman III is City Killer, right? Showing you the power that these, nuclear arsenals hold. And they're aware that they could completely obliterate an entire city. So how many with 200 million warheads? What is that going to do? Right? Well, I asked ChatGPT before, and I'll tell you this, nothing good, right? One thing ChatGPT said is that the whole earth will be knocked out of foundation. Jeez, man. But that makes sense because the Lord said a new heaven and a new earth, right? This is Ezekiel 38:10. Thus saith Yahweh Shema Shah, it shall come to pass that at that same time at the same, so like this is Ezekiel 38:10. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. Talking about primarily Russia, right? They're going to think that evil thought to do what? To fire these missiles upon Babylon, them, Russia and its allies, right? And they're gonna, and thou shalt say, and I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil, to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land. Because everything here is going to be removed, right? Very violently removed by what? Fire. Okay. And America doesn't have any defense against this. If you peep that movie that's recently been released on Netflix, forgot the name of it, but it showed that they tried to use the I forget the name of the missile, JDAB or some name that they had, and they tried to defend against just one missile, right? Shoot the missile up, and they only had 50. I think it was JDAB, right? They only had 50 missiles in its arsenal to defend, right? So they shot two, and both of them missed. One misfired, and the other one missed. You should have seen just the pain on their face, man. Absolute pain, because I understood what that meant. That meant mass death, right? That meant obliteration of, as depicted in the movie Chicago, right? And then they asked, why wouldn't we shoot more and da-da-da-da-da? And what are the chances we hit it? He said 50-50. Or you shot 2 and both missed. So 50-50 was being generous. But in reality, all of them are going to misfire. All of them are going to miss because the scriptures say that none shall miss their mark. Okay. So they're all gonna hit the target. Okay. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. And when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Now, what arrow can you shoot by hand to go to one part of the world to the other? There is none. This is talking in metaphor. This is talking in code, right? So you extrapolate, that's talking about what? These thermonuclear missiles. These are the only weapons that man has created, right? And I say that loosely because these are the Lord's weapons, right? That can be shot from one end of the world and land to the other end of the world. Okay? So that's what that's talking about. Okay? And they're going to do damage. They're going to do damage, man. The world is not going to forget the days that are coming. Okay? This is Isaiah 54 and 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. This is that waster that the Yahweh Shemawashah is referring to. These ICBMs, man. Right? And they're going to bring great devastation to the earth. And there's not a soul that could change what's going to happen or minimize it in the least, right? Because the Lord has already spoken it. Okay, so with that, I want to give all praise and the glory to Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shem, Rakakudash, Wabba, and DTA.